I'm Patrick King, and you are watching SYNTHWAVE ULTRA. Today's guest is one of the pillars of the synthwave community. Between promoting artists far and wide online to being one of the primary voices of Night Ride FM, she embodies the great spirited community that makes the synthwave scene so special. Welcome my guest today, Kaarin Zoe Lee.
Thank you for joining me. How's it going this evening?
Great. Just got my kid all ready for kindergarten, met his teacher. That was heavy. I feel old now. What happened?
Oh, I know. No, it's funny because I mean, you know, we're the same age, which I keep forgetting. Which is, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm 36 now.
Just a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, yeah. So I guess we can just hop right in here. Yeah. So as I mentioned in the intro, you're one of the voices of Night Ride FM. So how did you get into synth in the first place? Like just like synthwave, the whole retro wave scene and all that.
Oh goodness, I'd been a fan of the music for a long time. Well, not as long as some others. All right, it was after Drive, but it had been a few years, and I never really. I guess I never really did my research on the artists. I didn't snoop around too much, trying to figure out like who's who. I just listened to the music and enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And that changed when I decided I wanted to go to Outland in Toronto. And that was, let's see, Time Cop was on that lineup. And that got my attention.
Yeah.
So I went to see who else was on there, and Michael Oakley was on that. And I liked him so much that I went on to the socials, like trying to find the rest of his fan base, and I did, and that's how I found all of you.
Oh, cool. No, it's just funny. I mean, it seems like Outland Toronto 2019, that was just like a game changer, just because like I remember seeing that, and it was like most of the North American synthwave scene was there. And it was just like all the videos that I've seen, it was just an amazing show. I mean, I still go back and rewatch Michael's performance from that. It's just amazing.
Yeah, you can see my big old Darren Play eyes in the audience. That yeah, Julian pointed it out. He made a GIF out of it. It's funny.
Of course he did.
Outland puts on the best events. They did Ollie Ride's debut show, and I flew out to London for the first time in my life just to see that guy on stage for an hour.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, he was so good.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it's funny. I felt I almost felt kind of bad after a while because, you know, like pre-COVID, he'd be like, "Oh, where should I go?" I'm like, Come to Rochester," and it's like, okay, I think he kind of gets the point. But
yeah,
but yeah,
I think he'll come back. So
yeah, because like I was talking with him just kind of a brief exchange the other day, but just he was saying just how excited he is for the big show in December with Nina in London. So I'm sure that's going to be fantastic.
I think so too. I mean, that first show was incredible, and now he'll be back to the stage with even more material. So
yeah,
that Matter of Time song that he played on his last big live stream, that very Bruce Springsteen feeling. I love that. I can't wait to get that, like, where I can hold it and repeat it and put it on my playlists and just listen to it whenever I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that once in a lifetime live show he did was so cool. Like it just because like I mean, as you well know, like always he is a consummate showman, and so he like went all out. You know, had the full backing band and the lights and everything. That was so cool.
Yeah, no, he's got a good band behind him, and I think he tries to use a lot of the same people, like Josh Daly on guitars. He had another gentleman, Elliot, for this last stream because Josh is getting busy. James Cross is his drummer. I don't think they brought him to the US though when FM84 toured. I guess they don't really, not FM84. I don't know. Everyone plays on stage with everybody else. I can't keep it straight in my head anymore. There's definitely a little band of them, the same rotation of musicians.
Yeah, like that is cool because like I know like the Midnight does that too. How like Jesse Malloy is kind of like the unofficial third member, where like he does all of the live sax stuff.
I actually didn't realize he wasn't the one on the album until somebody pointed it out to me.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh goodness, I'm awful. I can't think of his name now. But yeah, they recorded with a different saxophone artist. They tour with Jesse. So they're both great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. It was funny too. Like speaking of Jesse Malloy, like I know on the new System Glitch album, like he's featured on one of that, and you can definitely tell like he does have just like a very specific style and sound. As it's like,
Yeah.
I can recognize who this saxophone player is.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was lucky, probably. I don't know. I bet Jesse's a busy guy, but also System Glitch writes good music. Who could say no?
He really does. I mean, I was going back and re-listening to it recently, and like that is such a good album.
It really is. And the story behind it too. There's like a plot underneath it.
So speaking of, so who are some of your current favorite artists going today?
My current favorites?
Yeah.
Well, we said one of them, System Glitch for sure. I really liked the Griff album. Not because I was on it, but I do have it like during the summer. I really love like that city pop feel. Beckett's album From City to Beachfront. That was a perfect release. Everything Micro Matt Scenes has done. God. Oh, Gab Manette. He didn't do anything this year, but last year he put out his own. I don't know if he calls himself city pop, but he's definitely got that vibe.
Gab Manette. I'll look that up.
Gab Manette, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the aesthetic.
Yeah, that's sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I could just keep rattling off artists if you let me. If you stay quiet, I'm just going to keep listing people. We'll be here all night. Sandor Gavin, I really like him. I like Roxy's Drive's new release with Celerec, LA Dreams.
Well, it's interesting too. You mentioned the whole like city pop thing. Like that's one of the things that I've really liked lately. Because I know like Griff did that, Beckett did. How they have, yeah. Like I feel like there's been kind of an increase in popularity in the whole like city pop style.
Yeah, I've been calling it daytime synthwave because I didn't know if city pop by itself covered it. But yeah, I think Beckett does a good job of like marrying the city pop and the smooth jazz, with the synths. I love Beckett.
Oh yeah, because he's I remember he also did a live stream. I guess it was maybe a month or two ago. Like that was a lot of fun.
With the guitarist, that one, yeah, I like that. I think he should have a guitarist in all of his. No, that's an opinion I shouldn't state. He knows what he's doing. I just love guitar on top of synths. It's my personal favorite taste, I guess.
Yeah. It's because that's the thing too. Like, I know earlier today I was listening to, just like some random stuff with guitars. Or like speaking of guitars, there, like I was listening to lots of Dance of the Dead just because. That's more of kind of like a fusion of like synth and metal, but that's some kind of idea of like actual analog instruments as on top of this electronic synth soundscape.
No, I like I don't normally listen to metal. I can appreciate it. I respect the art, but ever since I heard like Techno Mage, who's like synth chip tune metal. Like I'll listen to that all day long. Crossover genres will turn me on to any genre.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the cool things about synthwave too. Like there is a lot of crossover with other genres. I mean, like I know like Annie, who's come out recently, like her stuff has like almost an operatic feel to it.
I think I heard that she does musicals or theater or something. Like, yeah, she's got that sound, that quality to her voice. It rings. And Lavalette came out with an album just Friday, and their singer Sophia, she's she's a vocal student. She studies opera too. And you could just tell the way that she rings at the top of her range like that. Love it.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I know I feel like you've featured them quite a bit lately on your show.
Yeah, my last show was their feature. So I did play singles leading up to the release.
That's
everybody gets one. Yeah, we talked about exactly that, how Annie and Sophia and Power Rob too have backgrounds in theater and opera, and they bring them to the table. There's a place for everybody. Wherever you come from musically, there's a niche, and if it's not there, you dig it out.
Oh yeah. Power Rob's a great example of that too. I feel like him and was it Power Rob and Robbie Whiplash, right? And Megatronics, like they have such a fun style where it's just like that, like 80s power metal, but also like it's very distinctly synth. I remember I was chatting with them a little bit, how they have like those loose side guitars with the neon inlays, and like it just that's super cool. Just like that they have like such like a cool aesthetic like that.
Yeah, I love that. Like Synthwave Tenacious D.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell him I said that. I think he hates that comparison.
Well, I'm talking to them relatively soon, so I'll make sure to
It's fine. They love me. That's unconditionally.
That's funny. Well, so those are some of your favorites. So who are some folks who are maybe like a little newer, or like not as well known, who you'd recommend?
Oh goodness, Hideotronic. I don't know why he's being overlooked, but Hideotronic is a fantastic songwriter. He's a great singer, and he works alone. He does it all by himself, and it's like, what would happen if you had other experts like doing the checks and balances here? Like, I don't even know what that would turn into. He just does so good on his own. That last album that he released, Together Forever Alone, it's perfect top to bottom, if you ask me. And there's variety in it. It's not like you're listening to the same song every time, every track. It's cohesive. It has one song that's a little outstanding, which is called Freddie, which is my favorite one off the album. But I played that for Halloween, and I'll play it for Halloween this year too. I'm sure I will. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I remember Julian talking about them at some point. I think because maybe like when they're out there, or when his album just came out. Because like I do distinctly remember checking him out, because I think the if I recall, like his logo, like the album cover had the same font as the Stranger Things logo. It's like, oh cool, that's I love like where this guy's at.
For the singles, he does that. For the albums, he gets like the original artwork. So. No, wait, no. You're right. Database had that Stranger Things font too. And he kept using it for the singles, but Together Forever Alone had a completely different look to it. That's besides the point. Go on.
Nice. So how did you get started with your show on Night Ride? Because I mean, it seems like it's like you and the State of Synth and like Bosto, and those are like the main shows on there now.
Well, I started out as a fan of the State of Synth, and I think I was just clicking on everybody's links and saving everything. And you know how Night Ride FM got me? They have Chrome alerts turned on. So when Dennis G signed on for State of Synth, it let me know, and I jumped right in. And it did that every week, so I never forgot to tune into the State of Synth. And I love those guys. Him and Julie, they're so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And when they have a guest on, and they all just banter, and even when they complain about how we're going off the rails, like, that's fine. It's like we're chilling. It's cool. That's kind of how I do it, And then one day, Dennis was tweeting. He said, we're looking for another broadcaster. And I shot him back. I'm like, well, I have done public speaking. I can, not on the radio, but if you'll give me a shot, I know who I want to play. And he gave me a login, and he and Z and everybody, they're super patient with, I'm not tech savvy. And I had to go out and get a laptop. I'm like, all right, Windows 10. And to learn it all over again, kept calling the apps programs. That's where I'm at. And eventually, I think it took them 3 months to get me up and running. But I started off on an awkward foot. My first interview was Michael Oakley, because he suggested it. And I'm like, shoot, I don't even know how to do that. I just barely got online. But Michael Oakley said it. I could kind of make it happen. So now I'm doing interviews every week for everybody. I'm having so much fun. I love the State of Synth. I still tune into them. They'll be back September 1st, Wednesday. I don't know when this is. We'll be back Wednesday. Yeah, they take breaks. I need to take breaks like they do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've noticed how they do have that distinct format where it's like oh, like State of Synth, like season premiere, season finale. So yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, so you don't like burn yourself out or anything.
I know, I do that every year. Like I'll just take my break during Christmas break like all the kids, but I don't take a summer break. And I stay up late editing. I'm up late editing. It's so rewarding though, because I'm always motivated to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that's how I've been with this one too. Like there were a couple of nights where it's like, oh yeah, I'm just poking around in Premiere, and oh, suddenly it's 2 a.m.
Yep, exactly.
So what do you think about like these online streaming shows? So like Synth Valley, and I was actually talking with Zarina this past weekend. We're talking about Static Realms and stuff like that. Like, what do you think about just kind of the state of those, of like folks doing online streaming shows?
I think it's great, and I hope that everybody keeps it up, even when we're allowed to go to live shows again. Just because we are a global scene, so even if that show was happening live, how many of us could tune into that, And Starfair having his like every month, he's gonna stop at 12, like exactly 1 year of shows. He's gonna give himself a break. He said he was gonna keep doing them as long as people were interested in appearing on them, but he's got to rest too, man. He's a dad.
Oh yeah.
And those shows are long. Like they start at 6, and if he's up to closing them out, we're done at 11. I think nobody's at a concert for that long, really.
Jeez, yeah.
But the lineups are always great,
Yeah, for sure. Like, because I'll see folks tweeting about those, and like I'll see some pretty big names on there.
Yeah, gosh, who was on the last one? Oceanside 85. I think one of my favorites was a System Glitch. He really brought a crew in to film his.
Oh dang!
It looked so good. Yeah. Sounded good.
I think I caught bits down, because I think I remember catching the end of his set, because it was him and his wife, right? Like they're that was cool. Yeah, and then I saw Oceanside 85, and she was awesome. So.
I saw her on a couple of them. Yeah, no, System Glitch and his wife, they perform together regularly outside of that project. Goodness, who else was doing live streams? There were a lot of people doing, the standalone Alpha Chromeo, his black tie blowout. People love that. We all dressed up for that.
He is so much fun. Oh my god! Like I love like just his whole presence, and just like all his tweets and stuff. Like he's such just. He just seems like such a fun guy.
Yeah, that guy is a party and a human being.
Yeah, because I remember watching. I think I watched the whole thing, the black tie blowout, like you were saying, and it just, you can tell he's just up there just having a blast with it. I mean, he had like a smooth jazz version of Break Stuff from Limp Bizkit.
Yes, and the costume changes.
That was so good.
Just the visuals. Everything. It's just amazing what one person can put together on their own, and the community that they pull just with that project. Like, sure, it's not like Madison Square Garden level, but I don't know, as a scene, we don't expect that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's one of the things too that makes SYNTHWAVE really fun, is just how like DIY it is. I mean, so much of this stuff is just people at home doing it, like on their own, or maybe with just like a small crew or something like that. But like it's really impressive seeing what people can pull off it with just with relatively limited resources like that, as opposed to, like you said, having just like a big stadium blowout or something like that. Which I don't know, like it is cool when you see like synth artists doing that. I mean, I remember seeing clips of Perturbator at I think it was like Bloodstock, or like one of those big European festivals. I'm like, oh wow, this is like these with like 80,000 people or something like that. But then, at the same time, there's definitely something to be said about like a cool, like a fun little show like the Alpha Chromeo Black Tie Blowout. Like they're just, like you said, there's something for everybody.
Yeah, it's exciting though when they get those gigs. Like when FM84 got Electric Forest 2 years ago. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Because I saw them at the Crocodile in Seattle, 600 top venue. You know, like that was the first synth show I ever went to, was at that FM84 concert. I didn't know what the fan base looked like. Because, you know, I love them as much as I love Muse, but I saw Muse at the Key Arena, you know. Yeah. That's what I get for not looking at the numbers on Spotify. I just enjoy the music. I don't care.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things. I mean, I'm glad before COVID shut everything down, I was able to see the Midnight Live in Buffalo. Like I said, it was a little over 2 years ago now. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an experience. And like you said too, like there's just that great sense of community because synthwave is such a relatively niche thing. Like it's cool to be able to share that with this very tight knit scene.
I think it was 2 years ago yesterday that I saw the Midnight. Exactly. Yeah. You know, for anything negative that we hear, I feel like there's so much more positivity and support that it can be easy to ignore unless it's your friends getting wrapped up in it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I know I see it pop up on Twitter every so often. It's like, oh, blah blah blah, simply a Facebook group. And I'm like, I'm not in any of these, so I just see all these cool folks I like being cool on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. So
yeah, we have a good time. I'm going to Neon Rose in Portland next month, end of October. If Delta variant doesn't take us down, shut us all down again. Sure. Like I would be, from the booker's point of view, I would be so hesitant to dump that much money into an event that might happen, probably will happen. There's such a good chance that it would be taken back though. And
because I've been seeing the flyers and stuff online like that. That's shaping up to be a really good lineup.
They keep adding people. I mean, they sent me a lineup like a month ago. Like that's good, cool, and then they keep adding people. Like, oh my god. I don't think they've announced anything yet though, as far as who's on it. Have they? I don't know.
Yeah, because I saw something how I think Megatronics posted that they're going to be there. It was them, and I think
they posted that. Oh, good.
Yeah, because I saw it was them, and I think I saw like a handful of other pretty good names that I recognized.
Yeah, definitely. Megatronics was added recently. I heard that they said they were trying to tour, and then something didn't work out, and then this worked out. So I don't know where else they're going, but they're coming to me.
Yeah, it seems like Seattle has a pretty good synth scene. Like I know User's there, right? Like because I know you do quite a lot with him.
User, yeah, he was the first show that I saw coming back to synth events, and he was the last one I saw before everything shut down. And Hideo Tronic was a guest at both. He didn't perform. He's not live yet. I'm trying to convince him. But I met him for the first time at User's show before the pandemic. He showed up to the next one, and I think he saw how much fun they're having. He's going to finally do it. So nice. Hopefully. We also have Atomic Pines, who was on User's most recent show. Yeah. What else do we have? Wolftron.
Wolftron's cool. Like he's great. I like how he's got that like kind of like early 90s video game dark synth sound.
Yeah. People love his version of Mortal Kombat. That's a crowd pleaser at the shows for sure, because people just want to go nuts.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's got this Defender 5 project now, which is a little more cyberpunk. He's going to be doing some live shows, some DJ sets. I think, Psych, the guy behind Neon Rose, that's one of his artist names. He's also doing a project called No Face. He's friends with Facehugger. I think Dead Royalty may still be a thing. I don't know. Goodness, he works a lot with Tokyo Rose. I don't know if he lives here. I don't think so. I'm going to be having Michael Weber on before he releases his new album. I did some voice work for him too. goodness. I know I'm forgetting somebody who's like angry at me as they're watching this. People keep moving. See, Jansen was the first one that I supported, but he moved. Future Funk guy. I think that's all I can think of. I'll spit out a name when it comes to me later.
I do think it's surprising too, seeing like where some folks are. I know there's actually a guy here in town, Ghost Feeder, who's he's here in Rochester. Like he does he does like kind of a synth rock sound. And I know David Schuler from the Bad Dreamers is in Los Angeles, but he's from here, because I remember, I guess it was 2019. He played a show at a local venue the day after Christmas. So I mean, this is pure speculation, but it was just making me think, oh, he's probably like in town to see family. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll just play a show while I'm here. Yeah, I do think it's interesting too with synthwave how I mean, kind of going back to the Outland thing. I feel like Toronto is such an epicenter for the synthwave scene. I mean, there are so many big name people there. I mean, I think, isn't that where Michael Oakley is, right? Like I think he's there, and like Dina Jean Phoenix there, and of course Andy Last of Beyond Synth is there. So it just seems like there's like a lot of folks in Toronto. That's like the big core of the North American scene.
It's like the halfway point between Seattle and London. It's like at least Europe can meet us there in Toronto.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone just crashes at Neil Fox's house.
Oh, Joel, I love that guy.
Yeah. I think he might try to come out here for Neon Rose, maybe. I think the lineup has him enticed.
I can imagine so, but yeah, because I always think it's funny, and like, I guess like almost expected at this point. Whenever I go to an artist Bandcamp page, I always see his little icon there with the people who have purchased this album.
Neon Fox has beat you to this. Yeah, I know. Well, maybe that's just me. I get competitive.
So it's like, no, I'm the top fan of this artist.
Well, he always sends me stuff I never heard of. Very rarely do I ever send him anything that he hasn't heard of. It's usually like, yep, got it. Fine.
That's funny.
He's introduced me to Hideo Tronic, who's in my town. Like, how do you find him first? It doesn't make sense.
That's it. That's great. Yeah, like that's one of the things that I really like too about synthwave is because it's so community oriented. They're like super fans like that, like folks who are just like seriously in the know and just like have this bottomless well of knowledge of like great art, like great artists, like big and small. And I mean, he's such a great example of that.
Yeah, but he's like relatively new also. There's a whole history, like 2010 and before, that like we're aware of the artists that lasted, but we didn't know what the scene looked like back then. That would have been interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like just like kind of like a proto synth fam.
Yeah, kind of. And I kind of also want to know why the people who have a more pessimistic view of it now, what did they see then? What was I missing? You know, they gotta have a reason to feel that way, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely had. I mean, as with it, any scene, I mean, it's definitely had its ups and downs. I mean, I feel like as we've all discussed to death, the whole synthwave is dead thing, which comes up every now and then, and I don't know. I feel like whenever that argument comes up, it always like something big comes up, or it like rejuvenates the scene, and people are like, no, like it's actually like there's actually a lot of great stuff coming out, and here's some new stuff anyway. So yeah, that is true though, because like I remember, I guess I first got into it around 2015, 16 or so. But I know there were groups like Survive, who I think one of the guys from Survive did the Stranger Things theme, I believe. But yeah, like it was like that. It wasn't nearly as well known. I mean, like at least as we know it now. I mean, I feel like Drive and Kavinsky were definitely like the driving force of kind of like popularizing it for the most part. I mean, obviously there are other artists too, but yeah, it is definitely interesting to see how the scene has like grown and evolved and changed over the years. And yeah, like you said, I mean, seeing it in like 2008 or something, I'm sure it's just night and day how it is now.
Yeah, when it was a new thing. I mean, imagine nostalgia hitting new. I mean, it hits us all new at some point. Like this sounds so familiar, but I've never heard this. This was released last year. What is this? And then we all have to, like, I remember trying to find the word for all of this. I went several years without even knowing the word synthwave. Let's see. I keep saying I started with Kavinsky, but I heard M83 before that, and I don't know. I think neither one of them think they're synthwave, but everybody thinks they are. I don't know. I heard Midnight City by M83. And that video was something else. And the whole trilogy was just amazing.
Yeah, M83 was definitely one of those artists who, like, I got into, like, right before synthwave. So, like, yes, like I said, I got into synthwave around 2015, 2016. But I remember, like, right before that, I was listening to a lot of M83, Churches, The Naked and Famous, where it was kind of like there was definitely, like, the pop element, but it had a, like, increasing electronic element. I mean, M83 is a perfect example of that, where it kind of bridges the gap between, like, pop and then also kind of like retro synth style.
Definitely had the saxophone.
Yeah. I still remember the first time I heard Midnight City, and hearing that blazing sax solo at the end. Just, this is so cool.
Yeah, and the kids all, their eyes change a color or something. Wasn't that what's happening? Like the sun was setting like super fast. It's like some Village of the Damned sort of visuals. I need to see that video again. It's been a while.
Yeah, geez, I think I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Yeah, like it's definitely been a while for me too.
I was trying to understand the 3-video trilogy, trying to string it together into some sort of narrative. I couldn't figure it out. Well, not entirely. Just obvious points.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it's one of those things where it's like it's like a thematic trilogy, I guess, where it's just like loosely connected.
I don't know. It starts with these psychic kids, and eventually one of them's falling through space or something. I don't know. And then one of them is like the mother of the new Earth. I don't know. It's pretty cool though. Yeah. And then Kavinsky. I still didn't know what synthwave was, but Kavinsky came on random after I was listening to Rat-a-tat on YouTube with my husband. Do you know those guys?
Oh yeah.
I think yeah, they're from New York. Love them. And then I guess YouTube thought Kavinsky was related to that, and that's when I heard Night Call. I'm like, what is that? Tripping me out because I feel like I remember it, but I don't.
That's
like,
synthwave for you.
Like, oh, they're trying to get me to do that. I get it. Okay. Well, now I'm addicted. What do you want? Radio show? Interviews?
This is me now.
I stole my soul. Yeah, this is me now. I'm that, like, 2 years after synthwave panel, after the 6 months after synthwave. Like, all I have is those clothes now. I don't have a regular shirt that says nothing on it. It's all got a band on it now. I wear my plain shirts.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say you're rocking your Neon Arcadia shirt there.
Neon Arcadia.
Nice.
Yep. This is actually, you can't really tell. This is faded and gotten old. I washed it and worn it so much. It's shrunk a bit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I also have a puppy.
Oh, puppy.
She's not a puppy. She is old. She's blind.
Poor thing.
She's blind. She just turned 13.
Oh wow.
Kiku.
What's her name?
Kiku.
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 Oh, a little cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been one of the fun things about this, is asking people about their pets.
She just came wandering in here.
No. It's like, hey, what's going on in here?
Yeah. I hear voices. Actually, it's just my voice, but yeah. She wanted to hang out. You have any?
Yeah.
You're a cat person, huh?
Yeah. So we have a dog and a cat. Scout the cat and Zoe the dog. Scout is just as sweet as can be. Zoe is very sweet too, but she's very nervous and very awkward at first. But once she warms up to you, she's like she'll just love on you forever. But yeah, Scout's funny because she's like, oh, hello, and she'll just come up to you and just like nuzzle you, and she'll like what. My wife and I always laugh because whenever she like walks in under a chair or something, she has to hit every single rung and like that. Like she's
trying to scratch her own head.
Yeah, basically. Like she'll do that, and we'll look over and she's like rubbing her face on the corner of a wall, and which is funny because she was a little stray kitty, but I remember she just showed up one day and started following us around whenever we'd walk our dog, and it would get to the point where she'd follow us around the entire complex. And then she would actually she would start following us up the stairs and like inside her apartment. And then when it came time to move, it's like, I don't think anybody's taking care of this kitty. Do you want to take her? And yeah, so just took her to the vet, confirmed she didn't belong to anybody, she wasn't shipped or anything, and sure enough, she came with us. And it's funny too because my wife has never had cats. I mean, I always grew up with cats, but as my wife puts it, I'm not a cat person. I'm a scout person. Like she loves that little cat.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes the right one to change your mind.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I guess that's about all I've got. Was there anything else you wanted to add or promote or anything like that?
Well, see, there's Neon Rose, but applicable if you're in Portland, the Portland area, or the West Coast, or you want to fly out here, or you can fly out here if things haven't shut down. Portland is going to be hosting Neon Rose Fest for 4 days from October 21st to the 24th. There's a different venue each night, different lineup each night, so you'll have to catch the details online. Any of the socials, Synth City PDX. It's not my event, I'm just going. I'm plugging them. Let's see. The State of Synth appears to be airing every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm still on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern on Thursdays. We have a calendar on Night Ride for that. So find me on any of the socials. I mean, I'll keep the details posted. Plus, I'm still getting stacked with interviews. Like, who's next? I think I got the G and let's see. I gotta have the Tilt on at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Arcade High is on lineup. I recently did Sandra Gavin. We got a lot coming. Neutron Dreams is gonna be dropping a new video, and we'll be plugging that. Goodness. Yeah, I could go on and on.
No, that's great. I mean, like the synthwave scene is alive and well. So there's lots of
yeah, right. It is.
lots to talk about, lots to promote.
Shout out to Neon Fox and Forged in Neon, and Joe Loke, my Red Pack, and to you, my trusty graphic designer. Where's my card? I had to buy another pack of those cards, and I know people don't really do networking cards, but they're just pretty. I wanted to give them out. They're probably not within reach right now, but
thank you very much for joining me. It was nice to be able to talk, face to face like this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for having me. This is great.
It's nice to actually see people again, even if it's not just online. But dang,
we're real. We exist.
Mm-hmm. It's like we're not just words on a screen.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go, but have yourself a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. You have a good night too.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow Kaarin on Twitter and Instagram, and check out her show twice a week on Night Ride FM. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment, and subscribe to this channel for more conversations with folks about all things synthwave. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @PatrickKingArt, and check out the SYNTHWAVE Ultra playlist on Spotify for loads of synthwave of all sorts. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on SYNTHWAVE Ultra.